Welcome everybody to Life on Track, the TV series and podcast series that's all about helping you get into the driver's seat of your own life, not my life, not Margreit's life, your life. And I'm so excited. You guys know that I'm a life coach and business strategist, and I love working with entrepreneurs and helping them go from the overwhelm and distraction and feeling stuck to becoming focused and fearless and excited about your life and utilizing the principles in my book, Work Love, which came out in 2020. No, it came out in June of 2021 and went #1 bestseller right away. And the principles in this iconic book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which came out in 1937, the principles in these books is what this show is based on. And it's all about having you have the best life, and mindset is everything, personally and professionally. So I want to get right into this. I'm going to read Margreit's bio because I don't want to leave anything out. She's absolutely amazing, extraordinary. I love this woman. Okay, so as Vice President of Business Development at Equity First Consultants and author, Margreit McInnis has been passionate and dedicated to helping clients reach their financial goals since her career in the financial industry began in 1998. Her 24 years of experience are rooted in a strategy that concentrates on the basics, such as good cash flow management, budgeting, and credit health. Once this is accomplished, it is a great reward for her to see her clients be able to build wealth over time. In her business development role, she establishes and manages referral relationships, assists the team by analyzing client strategies, works with clients directly in their implementation plan, and is a face for the growing brand in the community. Margreit spearheads the firm's contracts and helps to maintain a positive pipeline flow. In addition, Margreit is a published author of 2 action adventures, middle school adventure novels, titled Runaway at Sea and Adventurer at Sea, under her pen name Margreit Maitland. The story is based on the true life experiences of her great-great-grandfather. Margreit is excited to be working on the 3rd and final novel in this exciting trilogy series. As part of her writer's journey, Margreit developed an interactive creative writing program for 5th through 12th grade designed to encourage creativity and get students excited about their own ideas. She also has a boot camp video series for adults with the same goal. When not at work, Margreit enjoys volunteering with the local community-based organizations and is very happy to be living on Long Island with her 2 children and her very friendly cat. In her spare time, she can be found staying active and outside whenever possible and with her treasured family and friends. I love you. Welcome to Life on Track, Margreit.
Hi, Erin. Thank you so much for having me. It's fantastic here.
It's so great to see you. And it's so great seeing you, like, even now networking and socially. You're such a good friend of mine. And it's an honor and a pleasure to have you here today with us.
I know. I'm excited. I know we've been talking about this for a while, so I'm so glad we were able to nail down a time. So great.
I love it. I love it. So, the first question that I ask every expert for years is, how did you get into doing what you're doing and why?
Okay, so because I'm kind of this dual-pronged person, right? I have my financial background for the majority of my career, and I have my writing. So I'm going to start with the finance. I got into the financial field in the mid-90s after recovering from a car accident. I had a brain injury, and then, it took a while for my brain to kind of kick back into gear. And then when that happened, I happened to be working for a mutual fund company and learning all about, mutual funds, getting licensed, and I was just like a sponge. So I really loved the business. I was amazed at what I was finding out. And also I had family members that were kind of going through some tough, challenging financial times, and it motivated me to educate myself so I could help people and I could help myself.
Yeah.
So understand. Yeah. So, and as far as the writing, my grandfather gave me my great-great-grandfather's journal about his life way back in 2001, the year before he died. It was, something that I had, and I kind of put it in the filing cabinet. I didn't really think about it until my grandmother passed away a few years after that. And then I took it out and read it, and I thought, oh, gosh, such an incredible story of my ancestor. I mean, he did some crazy stuff, and by the grace of God, he survived it all, and that's why I'm here, right? So I wouldn't be here if he didn't survive it all. But it's really an incredible story, and I just was so inspired to write something for young kids to read, to get into history, to get into creative writing, and just to really enjoy a true story and pull in these little snippets of actual real history that was happening at the time. So it's just like a passion project that turned into the published novels. So
isn't it amazing? It's amazing how our ancestors, like your great grandfather, is driving your life right now. He's not driving your life. He's inspiring you.
Yes.
Like, with the ideas and gifting you with the stories that you can write about, and even the family experiences with the financials, inspiring you and motivating you to do this for yourself. I say this all the time. My Aunt Rita was one of the first institutional traders on Wall Street. And I was, isn't it amazing? So and she pioneered for women. It was just unheard of. So I was riding around in limos with Aunt Rita in Brooklyn, till I was 7 years old. And she was like a celebrity. I say it all the time. She was the first woman to walk up to Harry's on the Square, the bar. It was a gentleman's bar, only for guys. And she was one of the first, because she got to be friends with Harry. And she was like, come on, let me be the first. And she was the first woman to step up to the bar, which is just, so I was inspired to work on Wall Street, and I did for years. And you're fully licensed. I'm fully licensed, and you are so good at what you do. And I know, because I worked on Wall Street for years, and you're really, you're great at networking. You're great at connecting, and connecting with people and connecting people. And you're really great at this. So the first talking point is the importance of financial planning. Can you speak into that?
Yes, absolutely. So it's something I believe in absolutely, and like so passionately, that if you don't take care of the basics, you can't move forward. So there's only two ways to affect your cash flow. One is to reduce expenses, and the other is to increase income. You can do both at the same time, but not everybody has that opportunity. But you must know what your net cash flow is, and you must know what your net worth is. If you don't know those basic things from the start, how do you move forward to build it, right? How do you move forward to change it? So I really think that that's so important, the budgeting piece of it. And what I've been doing with Equity First is really fantastic, helping people hitting financial disruptions, and getting them through that, getting them back on track. It's really incredible. And it's incredible to see the success happen and how that positively affects the client's life, all the way through. Having good credit, having good cash flow, good budgeting, it puts you all in the driver's seat of your own finances, and it helps you build the confidence. It's like the triangle of psychological needs. The bottom of the triangle is always safety. And in my viewpoint, financial safety is safety. So, without knowing that you have an adequate reserve, adequate cash flow to meet your expenses, how do you feel safe going through your day to day? So I feel really passionately about helping clients understand that's important.
I love it. And confidence in the feeling of having solid ground beneath your feet. That's what you always say, and the confidence comes, and I believe all of it is mindset. Anybody and everybody, and for everybody listening, you can build income. We're creators. We can create income, find out what you're passionate about, and begin to.
I know tons of people with side gigs. I mean, I'm writing, right? That's my side gig. I have a side gig, right? So it's, but it's so important to understand this. And if you're feeling lost, or if you're a professional, a center of influence, and your clients are feeling lost, that's really important for them to get down to these basics. Make sure they have healthy credit, healthy budgeting, healthy basics, so that they can be in the position to build wealth. Everybody should be able to have that opportunity. And it really does take a mindset. You have to decide. Nobody decides to wake up in the morning and say, I'm not going to pay my bills, I'm going to fall behind, and I'm going to spend all my cash reserve. Nobody wakes up and says that. But people go through divorce, business partnerships break up, or they build in family businesses change hands, where new generations coming in, and maybe they don't have established credit, so they can't get the financing that they need in order to take over. The older generation needs that retirement income, so it's matching those things. But it's also, it's just so important to that if you have a client that you can recognize is in financial distress. It could be an illness, a family death, the breadwinner, passed away prematurely, and perhaps you didn't have enough life insurance set aside. So these are things that create disturbances in people's lives, and it's not their fault. But doing nothing is still a decision, right? We all make decisions about what we do moving forward. Not making a decision is a decision.
Yes. Yes.
You not take action to protect yourself, to make it better, to educate yourself, and how do you get over this disturbance in your finances and in your life, and how do you move forward and recover and make it better.
Yeah. And like you said, not making a decision is making a decision to not make a decision. But procrastination is the opposite of decision. Napoleon Hill writes about that in Think and Grow Rich. You know, and indecision. In his book, Napoleon says indecision leads to self-doubt, slow and insidious leads to self-doubt, and then self-doubt leads to fear. Bam. You know, so indecision leads to self-doubt leads to fear. I'm all about vision and decision. That's my thing. You know, I have a friend, Eric, he's into habits and attitude. My thing is vision and decision. It's so important to create a crystal clear vision for your life. So this way, the decisions you make throughout the day are in line with that ultimate destiny. You know,
visualizing your success, even if you're not feeling success yet or what you would define as success, but visualizing that it's possible will help to get you there. And I know it sounds so silly, but our brain chemicals, that's the way it works. It's our happy dose chemicals, right? The DOS. And it really does go a long way, that positive mindset, to getting you to the next step.
Yes. I love what you're saying.
Yeah, but a lot of people going through financial disruptions, they're frozen, they're paralyzed, they don't know what to do, they don't know where to go for help. So that's what we do. That's what we do every day, is we get them unfrozen, we educate them, we get them back on track. And it's incredibly rewarding to be working with other professionals who refer the clients to us, and then we help the client, and then now the client can buy the house, buy the car, buy the furniture, get in lower insurance rates, maybe even get into a rental. Without good credit, you can't get into a rental, right? Sometimes it affects employment and certainly insurance rates. So it really does resonate like a domino through your whole life. But being frozen, it's fear. It's absolutely fear of the unknown, fear of, I don't know what my first step should be. It can paralyze people, and just, it can go on for months, for years, for whatever. And it's so important to take that first step to get yourself out of that.
Yes. Yes. And like what you said also, with when you create a crystal clear vision, you know, like, and down to every last little detail, like you wouldn't order from DoorDash and just say, I want a meat, a starch, and a vegetable. You would say, and you wouldn't say, I want a steak, a potato, and broccoli. You'd say, I want a ribeye, medium rare, you know, twice baked potato, sauteed broccoli, hold the salt, you know, like really crystal clear. Your vision personally and professionally, financially, has to be that clear of exactly what you want beyond your wildest dreams, like literally beyond your wildest dreams. Bring it alive with the 5 senses, utilizing the 6th sense of intuition, and have the feeling as if it's happening right now.
And it's funny, you say the 5 senses. That's what I do with creative writing too. I talk a lot about bringing 5 senses and imagery onto the page in writing, but 1,000% you need to bring that imagery to your life every day. Absolutely.
Yeah, and keep it in your mind's eye 24/7, like beyond your wildest dreams. I did it when I had cancer in 1991, you know, with the 2.5-year protocol. They would tell me I was going to die, and I kept living every time they said I'd die. I went on to have 3 kids they swore would never happen. And I really credit the fact it was Shaki Gawain's book, Creative Visualization, that inspired me to write a vision of where I wanted it to be in 2.5 years when this was over. They're telling me that they see me passing away. I don't see that happening. I didn't say, I wrote out a crystal clear vision, and I kept defying the odds. That's how I started coaching, life coaching in the 90s, because the doctors at Sloan Kettering started having their patients call me at home because they could not figure out what I was doing. They couldn't explain it. And I've been coaching ever since. They call me the miracle maker.
That's great.
Call me the miracle maker.
You're doing, you know, touching people with illnesses, touching people that may feel helpless because of their prognosis. And listen, sometimes the prognosis is dire and it's bad, and you've got to be working with the patient and also their families. But it's so important, because, and that's exactly the kind of thing that translates to financial disaster. When somebody's dying, people go into depression, you know, they lose jobs, they do this, they, you know, so it all ties together. Yes.
And even like with the people that you work with, I love this, Margreit. years ago, I couldn't even imagine if you said the word million to me like that, I could make $1 million in a year. I was like, whoa, like that's got to be a lot of work. You know what I mean? Like, how much work in a month do I have to do, like, per month to make $1 million for the year? And a couple 100,000 a year, like multiple six figures. I was like, that's doable. Like I grew up in Garden City. I was surrounded by that. But the men were the ones making the millions in Garden
Right.
City, like, and the billions, For me, I was like, no way, until I stretched my mindset, and I'm growing so rapidly. It's amazing. And I have a coach now coaching me. The goal is to hit the million mark, over the next 12 months. And I have the programs and everything else in place. But that's mindset. Just a couple of years ago, I couldn't even see it happening. Now I'm like, oh my God, that's easy.
Yeah.
But but I had to stretch my mindset.
Yeah.
This is what you help people do also. Go ahead.
You can talk yourself into or out of, right?
Yeah.
Good, bad, or ugly. So the important thing is find out the information, inform yourself. So whatever decision you're making, you at least are making an educated one. And there's no being judgy McJudgy pants, right? We're not judging people's decisions at all. When people run into financial issues, it's not a judgmental issue. It's how do we educate the client? How do we help them get out of it? And like that's so important. Like what you did. It's your mindset. A few years ago, you couldn't even fathom making multiple six figure, close to $1 million, or even passing that $1 million mark. If you can never visualize it, it'll never. You're always going to talk yourself out of it, right?
Right.
Do it.
Right.
That's not me. It's somebody else is doing that. I can't do it. You can do it. You can recover. You can move forward. You can. You can. It has to be positive language.
Yes. Like Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. And right after the divorce, I had nothing. I started, just everybody listening, it's not like I started with like $100,000. I had $5 in my pocket, $5 in my pocket in ShopRite, hoping it was enough for the milk and bread after the divorce because the child support wasn't coming and all that other stuff. And I stopped working. I had to stop working for a couple of years just to focus on the family. And my sister was diagnosed with cancer at that time. So I became the point of contact. And I literally at the time had to focus on the family. So when I came back up again and I started working, I started from the beginning with nothing. And I was able to do it. And I was able to build it to this way. So what I'm saying and what you're saying regarding the vision and decision is so key. And be persistent. Keep showing up.
Never give up. I mean, I had people that encouraged me to write my books. And then I had people to say, what are you doing that for? It's such a waste of time.
Right.
Who are you going to listen to? Right. I mean, if I listen to the people trying to talk me out of my passion project, like when I plowed through, my kids were young. I was working part-time. I was taking care of, house, whatever. And it was not so easy getting through every single day and setting aside the time to write and learning how to write, learning how to tell this story with honor, to honor my ancestors' life and tell it in the best way possible. And I had to learn that. And it was new. I mean, I didn't start at zero, but close to zero. Yeah. So it is a mindset and don't talk yourself out of success. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had friends also in family that were like, I think you should get a job. And I'm like, no, this is what I do. I know I can do this. But, and they're coming from their own place, their beliefs and their place of security and stuff like that. Everything's perception. And
it's not even like somebody's trying to throw you off track purposefully for nefarious reasons. No. They do well, but everybody's framing because of how they were raised or their own personal experiences. That's what goes into our mindset, right?
Yeah.
But when you have to break out of the shell, so it's just positive language. Surround yourself with positive messages, positive language. That's what helps get you where you need to be.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and remove the negativity. Like be intentional about surrounding yourself with only positivity. Positive people. There's a thing of constructive criticism. And that's like from mentors and which is great. And be open to that. And I want to get into your other talking point of learning to listen to others without sacrificing your goals.
Yeah. So and I'm going to lean towards writing my one because when I was writing, I was in a critique group I was looking for like a woman's critique group. I actually fell over this other group in Huntington, which was fantastic. I met some amazing people, and then we splintered off to a smaller group, which I still have, which I still go to every other week, or we try at least once a month to meet and critique each other's writing. But at beginning, I mean, it's really intimidating to be pouring my heart and soul into the pages and building these novels and the story about my ancestor and putting it out there to strangers, and it's very scary. But constructive criticism is necessary for growth. Yes. You can't be afraid of it. There's negativity, and then there's constructive criticism, and there are two different things. But you have to have a little bit of a thick skin to listen to allow those messages to come through and try to be objective about your global picture. Because again, objectivity and listening to those around you who may have been through something, they may have knowledge in the direction that you want to go, they're going to add some value. And again, understanding the difference between a negative message trying to talk you out of success and a positive constructive criticism of somebody with experience. But it's really, really hard to put your creativity or your work out and then sit there and be like, oh my God. It's, I mean, a lot of the best parts of the book came through that constructive criticism. I actually ended up dropping 7 chapters from the first book because I had a finished manuscript, well, unedited, but finished manuscript. I handed it to a friend of the family who is a published a novelist, and she read it for me graciously. She's now passed, but she had read it for me graciously, and she said, I love your writing, I love the story, but the action doesn't start until chapter 8. And it's really great to understand the backstory, but I really think chapter 8 should be chapter 1. So I'm like, oh my God, I spent 6 months writing 7. Like, oh my God. So I brought it to my critique group. I bought the first 3 pages of chapter 1 and the first 3 pages of chapter 8, and I read it aloud to my group. And overwhelmingly, everybody said chapter 8 should be chapter 1. And as much as it pained me to highlight 7 chapters and paste it into a separate document and see all of those months of work go somewhere else and not make it into the novel, but it's better. It's a better book because of it. Yes. And that's the type of the thing I'm talking about, being open to that type of constructive feedback. And essentially, those 7 chapters actually went into the prequel, which is a free download, on my website or whatever. But so I did end up using it, although I didn't realize I was going to do that at the time. But I did end up using it after all. But it didn't make it into the first novel. But it was good. It's a better. I'm a better writer for it.
I agree.
So,
everybody should belong to a group. There's a difference, Margreit, and I mean, this, you're speaking about this. And for everybody listening, there's a difference between opinions and counsel. And constructive criticism comes from counsel. If somebody's giving you their opinion, it's just, again, based on their limiting beliefs or their perception in life. Nobody sees the same way. So the difference between opinions and counsel, I think people understanding that, and thank you for like even your example, it's of the pain that sometimes we go through for the growth, in the valley. Yeah.
Yes. It definitely hurt, like moving 7 chapters, and that was a lot of work. I had to move over to the side. But also it's what do I want to say? Try, like, if you find yourself getting defensive, like you're saying, there's opinion and then there's constructive feedback or constructive criticism. And it is sometimes difficult to recognize the difference and figure out where your growth is going to come from. But if you find yourself being defensive, because it happens to me, I mean, my mom is like, the most, she'll like, I need her. I still need her, right? I'm 54. I still and she'll come back to me and she'll be like, this. And sometimes, and my sister will do it too, right? So sometimes I hear myself with that tone where I'm feeling defensive. And then it's recognizing I'm defending. What am I defending? What's the harm in listening to this other feedback that's coming back to me about, some event or something or, whatever. So it's important to not be defensive. Like, it's hard, It's really hard. What I'm asking people to do is really hard, to recognize when you get defensive, and open yourself up to listening to other people. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I learned in the mastermind that I'm in, I learned just to say thank you. Whether I want the opinions or the counsel or whatever, like I let people say whatever they need to say to me, because even if they think they're coming from a loving place, but I don't agree with it based on opinions, I still just literally just say thank you. I used to defend myself to no end. Yeah, to no end. And now I just literally say thank you. And then like I'll sleep on it, I'll take it into consideration, and it is either going to work for me or not, and then I go from there. But
no, actually a really good exercise in checking yourself.
Yeah.
Because by doing that, you're removing the option of you becoming defensive or spending a lot of time over explaining. Right?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Over explaining where you are in life, and but it comes from confidence. And listen, I have days where I am like, I am 1,000%, man. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. Whatever. And then there are other days when I'm not feeling so confident. So those are the days you need your counsel, your mentors, your coaches, and they could be official coaches, or they could just be close friends, family members, or colleagues in your industry that you trust. Just a trusted person to lean on a little bit and say, okay, I'm a little bit off track today. I can't focus. What's going on with me? Help me get through my task list today.
Right.
It happens to everybody. So.
And it's so funny. Helping people develop their confidence is like one of my most favorite things to do with my clients. A lot of the entrepreneurs, women specifically, that I've worked with over the years, they feel that they have to go in on such like manly energy, and just be so, just with that, it's not fully them. They're not fully being themselves. And I help them work on that and develop the confidence to just be you. When you show up in your feminine energy, it's so much more powerful, for women. And I help them develop that, because when you can roam the planet fully as you, like unapologetically as you, following the golden rule, and showing up as the best version of you each and every day, life gets to be fun. I say it all the time. Life gets to be so much fun.
Absolutely.
So I want to get to your last talking point, which is developing multiple streams of income. So important and so cool.
So important. And this is something that will help you not get stuck. So for instance, what we all just went through, this horrendous pandemic, a lot of businesses struggling, certain industries made a lot of money, certain industries lost a lot of money. And then there was a lot of people caught in the middle, going into falling behind on mortgages, falling behind on, the really affected millions and millions of people's, not only their mental health, but also their finances, which, as I said earlier, I believe strongly completely goes into your mental health and your attitude, et cetera. But I think that developing multiple streams of where your income is coming from protects you. It protects you from a market downturn, an economic downturn, your company failing, your partner ran off the money, your accountant ran off the money, you mismanaged, you made bad investment decisions, whatever it is, right? Whatever the disruption is, by having multiple streams of income, you're going to be able to pay your bills. And if you don't have it, it may take you a while to set it up. But if you don't have it and you've never thought about it, consider it. And I'm not telling people to go out and get 10 jobs. That's not what I mean.
Right.
But like you said earlier, what's your passion? What do you do? What makes you feel good? Do you do a lot of community service? Maybe you could turn that into an income opportunity.
Monetize it. Yeah.
Monetize it, right? Think about that. Think about how you're spending your time and how something can be done to, as I said, there's 2 ways to affect your cash flow: spend less, earn more. We can try to do both those things at the same time. It's not always so easy, but multiple streams of income, it just helps protect you. So that's certainly what I'm attempting to do for myself. I have my financial world, I have my books, I have my creative writing video series, and I have my programs for schools and libraries. So I'm trying to set all of those things up.
I love it. And you and I are so similar in that way. I have the coaching, I have my course, the 6-week Life on Track course and coaching program, and the school programs, workshops, I have so many the books. I have like 8 #1 best-selling books out right now. It's just like unbelievable. Life is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
You started at 0. It was
nothing. Nothing. $5 in my pocket. Just,
That's right.
I mean, the divorce was final just in 2016, you know, so it took a couple of years just to even recoup from that, you know, and now I'm living my best life. I keep saying I've never been happier, healthier, and wealthier in my life, but I did, like, I teach and preach what I did for myself. I did it with the cancer, I did it post-divorce, and I did it building a business, you know, like I love helping people create a vision for their life, you know, and a vision and decision. So this way, that's, you know, and then help them stay on top of their goals and achieve their goals. It's just, I absolutely love it. I love it, especially with the entrepreneurs these days. Because like you said, with the pandemic, my restaurant owners and so many people just, they were losing everything, you know, their whole life's work.
I mean, I just am very thankful for moratoriums that help protect people, whatever. But now that those are lifted, all of those people really need to take a hard look at what's going on. Are they, you know, were they able to utilize, you know, some of the financing through the COVID, you know, relief, et cetera, to hold, you know, keep them at least afloat, et cetera. But it's just like the people on Long Island or in Florida or in Louisiana or Texas or wherever, where there's tornadoes, hurricanes, you know, floods, and all of a sudden from out of nowhere, their house is filled with water. I mean, you're like, so do you have a cash reserve? Do you have adequate insurance? Do you have, you know, all of those things? We know when a tree is going to fall through our roof, but we need to be prepared for it. And
wait a second, we never know when a tree is going to fall through our roof.
It happens, you know.
Right.
We can't control the weather. We can't control, you know, macroeconomics.
No.
You know, control our daily decisions and how we operate in our lives, but we have to be prepared for the things that we can't control and how we navigate through those events through no fault of your own. So that's the kind of work that we do with our clients, with their credit, with budgeting, and, you know, all of that. So
right. And I'm not laughing at the fact like that people have trees crashing through their windows. It's just something that I never thought of, like, you know. And that could happen. Anything can happen. You're right. And we can't control, the only thing we have full control over, and I say this all the time, we can't control anything, like you just said, not the weather, not even our children. You know, we don't have full control over anything except our thoughts. Yeah. Just what we do with the thoughts when they come into our head. Are we going to entertain the negative thoughts, or are we going to just entertain the positive ones? And that's a game changer when you learn that, right? Like when people figure that out. Because when I was going through the divorce, I went into the fear, lack, and scarcity. I had like a temporary lapse of judgment for me, for Erin Lay. And I was like, I'd wake up in the morning with that, you know, and go to sleep at night with the, oh my God, because the child support wasn't coming. There were no dinners or sleepovers. Like I was just, it was me 24/7 the last 9 years.
So scary. And
right.
So many couples go through it. So many, you know, women, men, you know, whatever, like they like, it's very, very scary when, you know, you can't work your marriage out, or somebody dies prematurely, right? Or a tree falls through your house, or, you know, your business fails, you know. I mean, like I said, there's a million different things, like, and nobody wakes up on a day and says, I am not paying my bills. I'm going to this under a bus. Nobody wakes up to say that. Nobody, right? You have to recognize that sometimes we do make bad decisions that send us down the wrong road, or sometimes things happen that we can't control. So it is all about mindset, educating yourself, taking that first step. And sometimes the first step is the scariest step, right? And that is to educate yourself as to what do I do now?
Right. And I highly suggest that they run to you, reach out to you. And I also highly suggest they meditate. I did meditation within the first 17 seconds of waking up every single day. I still do it. And it only took 30 days, but I stopped that waking up with, it went away. I couldn't even bring it on. I tried to bring it on. I'm like, how come it's not happening? And I really credit the meditation.
I don't know that it's meditation, but it's more like, you know, I changed my morning routine. And I recently had my first Reiki session, which was really fantastic. And I have a friend who sent me some, you know, ways to learn how to meditate. And I do think that that's so important. But I wake up like, okay, well, what did I used to do? Check my phone, check the news, check this, check that. Now what do? I get my tea, I sit outside, or I sit on my couch. I don't touch electronics for the first, you know, 30 minutes or whatever. And then I might watch the news for after that, or usually I'll my exercise, right? I'll do 2 miles around my neighborhood. I'll do some, strength training to help balance my body chemicals and my moods and, all of that and get myself and get ready to go by 9 o'clock. That's how most, not necessarily on the weekends. Sometimes that schedule differs a little bit, but definitely trying to get ready to go, ready to work, ready to take the first step of the day by 9, professionally speaking. But
I love talking to you.
Yeah, it's a mindset, and listen, a lot of people are stuck with fear.
Yeah.
And you can't let fear rule the day.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to be intentional about getting out of the fear. Like it's work. It's personal development work, but it's necessary work for you to live your best life. There's people that go a whole lifetime living in fear, a whole entire lifetime. And you have a choice all day, every day, come from a place of love or come from a place of fear. And when you're in fear, it's everything negative, it's regret, remorse, anger, anxiety, depression. It's all fear based.
Yes.
When you're in love, it's abundance and it's enthusiasm and it's optimism and it's hope. It's just all wonderful things when you're in love. So show up, wake up in the morning, check in with yourself, have a morning routine like Margreit is saying, and have love yourself fully. Spend time with yourself, meditating. Like I said, draw up that crystal clear vision, and that's a great starting point. And then run to Margreit for the financial planning and everything else. So how can I contact you? Let's talk about your free gift really quick.
Right. So free gift is a 15-minute consult. So you can just reach out to me. It could be a consult about your finances, which of course is confidential, and just whatever. We do it all day long with our clients when we're working with them. So it could be about financial questions. What's my first step? What do I do? Or it could be about creative writing. Like maybe you have a book idea. Maybe you want, maybe you're a teacher or administrator in a school and you want to bring in a great assembly program, which would be my creative writing program, or you can purchase my video series. But it could be about creative writing. Or even like from a business perspective, like I said, multiple streams of income, talk to me about what your passions are, and let's see if we can set you on a path to try to set that up. So
I love it. I love it. So how can they reach you?
Well, you can reach me at my my work email, which is Margreit at equityfirstconsultants.com for all things financial. So if you want a financial consult, if you're feeling stuck and you don't know what your first step is, definitely reach out to me there. Or my or margreitm@gmail.com.
Margreit M. Hang on, let me find it. Here we go. Okay. Okay.
M after Margreit. Margreit M.
Oh, I left out the M. Okay, sorry. Margreit M. All right, and then I'll give them. Can I give them this one? Did I leave out I left out the M there also.
But that's the financial one, right? And then Margreit, that's good. Yeah. I mean, we could not be confusing and just leave that one.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. And there's no M there. So that's perfect. All right. So this is fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. And they can reach you on Instagram.
Yes. At Margreit M. That's my Instagram.
There. I got the M in there.
I do. I have a TikTok too, but I'm trying to figure out TikTok. I'm still learning TikTok. I haven't figured that whole platform out yet.
I did one.
Yeah.
I did one TikTok. I got to figure that also.
Yeah.
I'm 56 years old. I didn't grow up with this.
Getting there, kids. I'm getting there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Margreit. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Have a great weekend, and this was just, I love this. Now it's like it's a Saturday, but I'm just feeling like ready to go.
And this is going to go out on Tuesday morning, and it goes out on Amazon Fire and Apple TV and Roku and all those. And
I'll share it out, to my network on my LinkedIn and my, all my social media, etc. So that'd be fantastic. And I love what you're doing. And I'm talking about, we were at the same networking event the other day and still missed each other, but we were talking about getting together socially. So hopefully we will do that soon.
Yes, I miss you. Absolutely. Yeah. We have to. I will definitely connect with you. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yes, all doing fantastic stuff. I'm so proud of you. It's great.
Oh, thank you. I'm proud of you too. We're all about serving. You know, when you're in service to others and you just want to make this world a better place and have impact and, you know, just like that's what I want my legacy to be, you know, just that I made the world a better place for having been here, you know, serving other people. That's what I believe happiness is derived from, you know, when you have your hands out in service of others, you know, and you're the same way. I know you are.
Like, you know, doing community service, I just love it. There's nothing to me that makes me feel more satisfied than helping somebody else that is in need.
Yes.
So,
yes. Well, good. Thanks. All right. Thank you so much, Margreit. You're amazing. You're magnificent. I absolutely love you. And all right, everybody, have a magnificent day. And always remember to live onward and upward. Love you.